Getting up. What's good? What's good? Oh shit. What's good? What's good, my brother?
Man, what's going on, man?
Gotta
What's
ask
good?
twice. This that Christ life,
Hey,
living life Christ like.
happy
Known
to
to
have
take
you.
a
Happy to
bite and
have
make
you.
a demon go night
Appreciate
night.
it.
Highway to heaven, holy oil on the tires. Bumping Christian music, Holy Spirit is the driver. Devil thought he had me tied up, now I'm flying up. The devil getting jealous cause I'm spitting that
Uh,
fire. Hey, they not like us. The devil can't hold me, bro. I'm coming out the
Right!
Man, what's good? What's good, nation? Ray Love, the only one in the building
what's
today.
going on, man? Salute, salute.
What's good? What's good? Thanks for pulling up, man. I appreciate you. Today we have none other than the Raider Rundown, man with all the fire content, fire lives. Also does the Raider Syndicate. Go check that out. So, what's good with you, my brother? How are you today?
Man, can't complain, man. It's another day of Raiders football. Get to talk that, man. Appreciate you for having me on here, man. I appreciate you for always supporting the channel as well. So had to go ahead and support you right back. And you already know everybody hit the thumbs up on the guy channel, man. Make sure everybody's supporting, man. I always got that fire content as well.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Huey P in the building. What's good? What's good, my
Man, what's
brother?
good, Huey, man? What's going down?
What's good? So, man, a lot of going on, Raider news. So, we got preseason coming up in a couple days.
Uh-huh.
We still don't know who the quarterback is.
One.
We we really don't even know who the offensive line is. I mean, if we want to be truthful.
Right.
So, um, the title is Panic Button. Is it Panic Button time? I know you were live yesterday talking about you gonna give them till what date? Go ahead, tell them.
I said I give him till the 17th. You feel what I'm saying? That's next week against the Cowboys right there. So if we don't have no separation by then, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and call it for what it is. You know what I mean? I know a lot of us are making a lot of right now. I'm not gonna call them excuses. I'll say there are a lot of factors that one can lean on when it says with this quarterback scenario, why they not playing well, why they're not doing this and that. But come next week, if we don't see any separation between the two, it's time. It might be time we start to face that fact
Hey, what is this fact?
that
Uh,
right now we're screwed, bro. We're screwed. That mean, like we don't have a quarterback. I mean, reality is setting in a little bit, but
so
I'm
you
hoping that right now it's just the defense. Our defense is just that good. That's what we're hoping.
so do you think it's the reality of the ESPN ratings and the sportbook ratings 6 game win reality, or
No, I think
is
we're
it
gonna
not that
win
bad?
over 6 games regardless. But what what I'm fearing is that we're gonna be in that pool again, which we've been in many years, which is mid, right? Like 8 games,
I hear you.
9 games. You know what I mean? And we've been doing that for I don't know how many years. So at the end of the day, then we're back to the same position we were last year. Pick 13. We know we need a quarterback. Now everybody's shaking and shivering about the price to move up in the draft when everybody knows there's only one thing you have to do, and that's the draft one. So I don't know. We're gonna see coming up this year.
Yeah, I feel you. I think it's not time to panic. I know, like you said, the defense. I mean, the defense, the defense, the defense. We got to remember what they did to Patrick Mahomes, is the number one quarterback in the NFL last year.
Right.
That
Right.
they had him on the ropes. They rattled the shit out of him, and Jordan Love, who just became the highest paid quarterback ever in the history of the NFL. Right.
Right.
Look what they did to Jordan Love. That the man couldn't get away. He couldn't throw the ball. So and Aiden O'Connell is not Patrick Mahomes. He's
Right.
not Jordan Love. Gardner
Right.
Minshew probably wants to be Patrick Mahomes, but he's not a Patrick Mahomes or a Jordan Love, in my opinion. So we have to look at that factor, and then the factor of the offense. We're putting a rookie at right tackle. It's that bad right now, in my
Right.
opinion. I don't think it's I mean, the man held his own, yes, against Crosby. Yes, he's been getting first team reps and he's holding his own. But is it that he's that good, or is it that our offensive line is that bad and we're fishing for solutions?
Well, I think the reason why he's playing right tackle is because they're trying Thayer at left with him at right. Pete's over there at the same time, but they gotta mix it up just in case something happened to Colton. And we know Thayer can play that left tackle, so that's why I would venture Glaze is going up to that right tackle. And I understand, you know what I mean? We're playing one of the league's best defenses, and we understand that these quarterbacks aren't the most talented in the world, right? And with the talent, I understand that factor, which is another reason I wanted to draft one, but it is what it is, right?
Right.
But where I'm really scared, what really has me is the fact that I'm not seeing any leadership right now. Like, that's what's scaring me. The fact that the talent factor, whatever the case, cool. Like, you know what I mean? We understand where Gardner Minshew is. Aiden O'Connell can be, something if he has the right factors in place. But at the end of the day, I'm not seeing no leadership. You know what I mean? People dropping balls, people going false starts, flags, dumb penalties. And this is what I was saying yesterday. Sometimes you need that leader too. And if that's not revealing itself by now, you feel what I'm saying? We 10, 11 practices in. Now we get into the playoff. Think about this. We getting into preseason games, and now you start getting into certain scenarios. Now people are looking around for leadership on the offensive side of the ball because
Exactly.
ain't nobody spoke up yet. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm getting a little concerned as well.
Well, do you think that maybe that leadership is because Tay hasn't been there the last couple of days? I mean, he is the captain. He is a big leader.
This is true.
Even Aiden O'Connell expressed today that Tay's always out there in the film room pointing out what people are doing wrong. Telling the receivers, telling the O line. He's telling everybody what they're doing. He's been around. He's a vet. So not having his leadership on the offense, and then the defense, you don't only have just Crosby, but you have Kuntz, who's been stepping up in the leadership role. You have Christian Wilkins. You have Epps that's been stepping. You have leaders on that defense. Who's stepping up? You Colton Miller's out. Like, who's stepping up on this offense
And see
to be the
that's
leader
another
right
reason
now?
why it's scary for the quarterbacks, right? Like with Tay, cool. Tay gets out, but Tay's a receiver. At the end of the day, Tay is a receiver. He is a dependent position. When you look around, and this is where, right? This is where you start to everybody on both sides of the quarterback equation, you start to sweat because if you're an AOC truther, you sit there and say you want to see this progression. You need to see this progression from
Yeah.
this young quarterback. You know what I mean? You need that because if he wants to be the starter and he's going to carry himself like this is his team, you need to see him start. Like Trey Tucker dropping all these passes, and we didn't practice together all summer. I don't know. Do you cuss on here? I don't know if you cuss
Yeah,
on here.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You say what
You
the
know what I
fuck you
mean?
want
Like,
to.
come on, bro. We talking about real leadership from AOC, bro. That this is the time for you to get in the motherfucking ass and say, hey, bro, we done practiced all summer. What the fuck are you doing? You're
Right?
dropping all these fucking passes, bro. Get your ass in gear. That's the shit
100.
I'm looking for. You feel what I'm saying? Gardner Minshew, too. He comes in with the happy-go-lucky, but sometimes, bro, you need to get in the motherfucker ass. That's just what it is, bro. If you're lackadaisical, then that's going to translate over to the field. Now, we're going to see what happens on Saturday. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't like the fact that I've only seen out of the 10 practices, I've only seen our offense kind of buck back at the defense one time. That's all I've seen. And yeah, everybody can say like, oh, it's the defense, whatever the case. But I'm talking about out of the 10 practices, the defense has punked the offense 9 times.
Right?
I've only heard one time the offense was like, yeah, they came out with some fire in their chest and all that. Only once. So that's what's really scaring me right now.
Yeah. I mean, I understand completely. We need leadership, but like I said, a lot of that might have. Come on, dog. A lot of that might have to do with Devontae Adams, and not being there in his leadership role. And like I said, there's so many leaders on the defense right now. Colton Miller's not being in there, so that's helping. And the fact, Aiden's going into his second year. So, man, let's pop into the chat, see what everybody got to say in here. I hate to leave them out, but Huey P says we definitely leaning on the defense, but this is going to be a top 5 defense. Let's play Saturday and see how the offense does against another team. No panic button yet.
Yeah, no panic button. You want to say that? Sure, but that's what I'm saying. We give them until the Dallas game. You know what I mean? In the Dallas game, I'll go full-fledged. If I don't have any separation, I'm gonna go full-fledged off the cliff, and I'm gonna say, yeah, it's looking real ugly at that point.
Right.
But as of right now, we have that's what I'm saying. All the factors, we have the shroud of mystery right now. We have no idea what it is because we ain't seen them against another jersey. So right now, we can say that.
Right.
Until Saturday, we gonna see.
Huey P says, who's the leader on the offensive side? Let's see. Leo says, that's what I'm saying, rundown. There is no leadership on the offensive side. Yeah, I mean, you got to have leadership. And, I mean, if you see today, in my opinion, like you said, this lackadaisical, like, from guard dog, like, I don't see no dog in him. Maybe if he shows it different on the football field, but in his meetings, and another thing is his frustration. We'll get to that in a minute. That was my next topic. But it seems to me like it, you know, he's just lackadaisical. They ask him questions like, what do you got to do to take this job? And he's like, play better. Like, I mean, I'm going against myself, which I understand that, but you're the experienced quarterback in the locker room, whether you're taking the job, winning for the job, or fighting for the job. You should still be the leader in the locker room. It shouldn't. Every time I hear
15
players,
mil, bro, you know what I mean?
Every time I hear players speak, they're talking about how Aiden's taking leadership role. He's not playing well, but he's taking that leadership role. He's telling people, hey, this and that. And Gardner's not getting after nobody. He's got to get somebody's ass eventually and show, look, man, even if I don't become the starter, I'm still the veteran, on this team, and I got to be a leader. Like, that's just my opinion.
See, you hitting it on the head, and this is where I'm saying, like, for this quarterback battle, this is why right now I'm sitting so neutral, and I'm on that panic button. I'm hovering because right now I'll be the president of that fan club. Anything you want to say about either of these quarterbacks that everybody was like, oh, this is why they should start, you can pick apart right now, and that's what's the problem. Because with Gardner, right, and I only use Chris because Chris be the main one I be thinking about, but Chris and guys on that side, they like Gardner, right? They like Minshew, and then they will tell me, oh, Minshew just needs the lights to turn on. Then he turns into that dog. Bro, do you not want that 365? Why do I need that shit when the lights are on? That don't make no sense. So you mean to tell me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get that all the time? Or is going to be mad inconsistent? That's the next thing. Like, and then we talk about all this dog that Gardner has. Like you said, where is it in the leadership factor? Where is it when you need to get in somebody's ass? Where is it where, bro, you get taken to the ground in a scrimmage? I don't hear nobody buck up for you. That's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, who's fighting for their quarterback?
Exactly. It's bro. And sometimes with football, we make it more complicated than the shit is. Football is a very simple game at times, bro. Very simple. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep,
and sometimes it just
comes
down to X's and O's and fucking attitude. That's it. So in a scrimmage where not normally your quarterback is taking that, I understand Max is the face of the league, but I want to see a motherfucker get in his face and say, back the fuck up. And you know what I mean? And be serious.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? That's what I want.
Like, somebody should.
We're not gonna fight. But at the end of the day, I understand you the face of the league, but I don't give a fuck what you are at this moment right here, bro.
That's your quarterback. You're supposed to be protecting your quarterback. It doesn't matter if he's the captain of the other team. Somebody got to step up.
Exactly.
Like they
said
today.
I don't give a fuck right now, bro. It's a scrimmage. You feel what I'm saying? He wants to take him to the ground. I'm going to get in your fucking face, bro. Let's rock. And what we going to do now? So where is that from our offense, bro? Where is it?
Yeah, somebody got to get that beast mentality. And they said Gardner, I guess, was kind of a little upset because Max, got a sack on him today and then stripped the ball out of his hands. But I mean, somebody on that O-line should be like, yeah, don't be stripping the ball from my quarterback. Like, take that initiative. But that's another thing, with Colton Miller and veterans not being out there. It's, somebody's got to take that leadership role on the offense. And with DA not being there, I think that's a huge problem right now. And, that's going to get fixed, definitely. But I think we have the coaching staff that, they don't seem worried. In all their interviews, they seem like everybody's right where they expect them to be. Maybe we have higher expectations than the coaching staff. But besides the quarterback battle, they, everywhere else they seem to be good, which I'm worried about the offensive line. No matter who the quarterback is, you have to protect the quarterback. So with Colton Miller not being in there, JPJ was supposed to be sometime this week, but Is he going to get reps? Is he going to be? He's definitely not going to play in the game. I mean, there's no way you're coming into practice on Tuesday and Wednesday and getting in the game on Saturday. So
Yeah.
he's definitely not getting any play time till the following week. So I mean, who's the offensive line going to be? Is it going to be Pete? Is it going to be Whitehair? What's your opinion? What do you think we're going?
So O-line, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really too concerned about the O-line. And honestly, I ain't even heard too many people talk about the O-line. This is another thing why I'm worried. Because the O-line is exactly what I think they are. That's the next thing. I don't have like I don't think they're gonna be no top 10 O-line. You know what I mean? I'm already looking at a top 15, top 20 O-line. That's cool. That's fine. That's what we were last year. You feel what I'm saying? It just looked a certain way because motherfuckers didn't know what they were calling. But at
Right,
this point, right now, you know what I mean. We're playing a scheme that fits our people better. So now I expect them to be same thing they are. Maybe that fringe top 15 to 12 category. You feel what I'm saying? They might sneak into the top 10 for the PFF, but who cares about PFF? But whatever the case, right? Right now, I'm not tripping because I know Pete and Whitehair at some point in this season might play because it's the O line. Injuries happen. Where I am tripping is that JPJ not getting all this valuable time, bro. Like we about to leave Costa Mesa. He ain't even
me
took one
too.
practice snap. You
Me
know what I
too.
mean? Colton, I don't care about. He's a veteran. He done been in the league multiple times. It is what it is. Let him get 100% healthy. But JPJ, on the other hand, he need to get his ass in here before, maybe probably not for this game, but before that Dallas game, he need to start playing some reps 100% because we can't be going into no LA fresh. You know what I mean? And for damn sure, you can't be trying to get your damn rhythm against Baltimore, bro. Like, you going to get your ass whooped. So he got to get in there. But the offensive line don't give me too much concern, bro. It really don't, honestly. I mean, I think we're going to be exactly what we are. I hear, every time I look at the practice reports, running is okay. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, I've always said we're going to have one of the best run defenses in the league. So it's not surprising me that we're not having too much success against our defense running the ball. But, I mean, Max is Max. Our D-line is that D-line. So I'm not going to trip that much when you're going against this right here. But at the end of the day, still, it's turnovers. It's no leadership. Is all this other shit where it's like, God damn, bro, these are things you can control. Overthrows, underthrows, bad throws. You feel what I'm saying? Triple coverage. Like, we're hearing this too often. It's damn near every day. We're hearing a quarterback throw some shit into triple coverage, or he throws some shit that shouldn't have been thrown that was ugly. Like, we're hearing this every day. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm worried about all the sacks and the turnovers. Turnovers come from defensive
Turnovers is
line,
bad.
pressure. Like if the defense is constantly getting pressure in their face, they're gonna throw into triple coverage and make mistakes. Like, and that's what we're banking on as a nation that our defense is gonna do to opposing teams, right? So this offense is still in a new system, and we're day 10 going into practice. We've had pads on for 5-6 days now. So
Yeah.
we took one day off. It's a new offensive system, and we're hoping that we're going to go in there and our defense is going to do the same thing to opposing teams. That a lot of the teams we play been in the same system for a little while now, kind of like our defense. That's another thing. They've been in the same system for 3 years. They're gelled. They know each other. They're way tighter knit group, obviously, because if somebody was to do strip the ball at somebody's hands on the defense, everybody would be over there. That's just how I see it. So I think the offensive line has to be settled. You have to know who your quarterback is, and they have to get more reps than I think they're getting. I think this changing reps is a lot of the problem too. There's no consistency, and they preach consistency. It's hard to be consistent when you're constantly swapping out one day with the ones, one day with the twos. I know it's a battle, but like you said, eventually somebody's got to take the bull by the horns. And if not, I think we're going to be in trouble going into Saturday against the Vikings. I mean, we got shut out against them last time. So
Right. And that's, and we'll see against that. And I understand what people say when you say like, oh yeah, and shout out to Raider Ben, but I understand what people say, when they talk about, oh yeah, they switch out and do all this. But the only problem is the reason they're doing that is because nobody has separated themselves. You know what I mean? You would have liked somebody to do this quicker, rather than what they have done. And at the same time, if this defense is so formidable, if a dude was balling against this defense, you immediately would say, "Oh yeah, bro, he's the dude. That's the guy." You know what I mean? But I mean, at the same time, not even. I mean, consistency is the next thing. But this is the problem too. I know you just preached about consistency, getting consistent reps, but at the same time, we have to get consistent performance before we can do that. You know what I mean? Every day, like I said, it's up and down. It's up and down. And like I said, we ain't had not one clean day in a while. I don't remember last time the quarterbacks. I think since the pads have come on, it's been turnover city. Honestly, since the pads have come on, so I think we need to clean that up before we can talk about all that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got a whole lot to clean up before going into a game in what 5 days, 4 days. So there's definitely a whole bunch of concerns, but I don't think it's time to panic. I think the offensive coaches, the defensive coaches, the whole coaching staff know what they're doing. I think they had practices like they had to keep a lot of the stuff secret. I think, I've never heard one-sided reporter. Every reports that you've heard is Garner's bad, Minshew's bad. Garner's bad, AOC's bad, Garner bad, AOC's bad. So it's back and forth. I don't know if it's just the reporters. I'm not there. Like you said, we can't see it. Usually we get to see this stuff, and there's a lot more film and a lot more footage we can dissect and make our own opinions. But right now we're just going off what we read, and what we read could be biased opinions, just like we have biased opinions about a lot of stuff as Raider fans. So I don't think it's time to panic. I think they're going to be just fine. I think, they are gamers and they're going to step up, but how much is it going to, even if so here's my question. AP said that no matter what, they're going one quarter, right? Through the whole preseason. So what if somebody does, step up and take that leadership role? Like, how do you know that, how do they know that they're taking that leadership role? Are they going to tell them, hey, look, you're the guy, or you're still splitting? Are they going to, give them more reps and say, look, this guy's stepping up. You're not, he's playing the whole first half in the last season, the last preseason.
Honest, man. I'm gonna be honest, Rebel. It's looking ugly, bro. It's looking bad. I'm trying not to hit that realization in my mind, but now, like, I'm really thinking about it.
Right.
Because now one with who because Huey P just asked it right now, right? And it kind of ties into your question. Who gets to run with the ones more? You know what I mean? On Saturday. And whoever starts, I would imagine, run with the ones. But if you're playing in that, I wouldn't imagine the starters are playing in that second quarter. So the second quarter, the dude's playing against the twos. So how do we judge that? You know what I mean? Like, how do we judge the fact that if ones plays with the ones and he don't look good, but the other plays with the twos and he looks amazing? Like, now, like, how do you judge that scale? And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, we're to this point where a dude's making 15 mil and he's a vet, and this dude's making close to nothing, and he's a second-year dude, and we have zero separation between the two.
He should be so far ahead right now.
Zero. And that's what I'm saying, bro. At a certain point, we got to stay positive right now. We're going to hope, because we ain't seen them against no other jersey. So that little slice of positivity has to stay there. But I'm just saying, we might have to look at the writing on that wall, bro. And at some point, we're going to stop doing this shit where we're scared to draft a quarterback, bro. I'm just going to preach this until we do it. Like, we have to stop it. I know all of us look at some draft prices and we start, our boots get to quaking. But at the end of the day, bro, it's what must be done. Or it's going to be the same wheel, just a different hamster running the motherfucker, bro. I swear. We have to stop doing this. So at this point, we can hope that this is what we are, you know what I mean? And that we just have this great defense. And when we go against other defenses, that we start shredding them apart. That's what I want to see. But if not, yeah, bro, that writing's on that wall. That writing's on that
wall. I hear you. It's 100%. So with that being said, if you would think it would be a different story if, you're saying the offensive line, you think is holding their own and they're just fine. But like I say, if they're getting all this pressure on these quarterbacks, do you think it would be a different story, with Colton Miller out there or JPJ? Or you think it's the quarterbacks are really struggling that much? Or is it just these defensive backs? Like, this is a battle out there and everybody knows there's a corner 2 spot open. and there's backup spots open, and these kids are hungry. You know, their belly's half full and they want to eat. So
No,
that's what they're
100.
doing. Like, you know, Palomalo's been out there turning the ball over. Epps, like, I don't think Epps had an interception all last year or a fumble. So he's already got, you know, 2 or 3 in the off season. So the defense is causing, you know, the defensive line is so dominant. They're causing that much havoc on these quarterbacks, and I predict they're going to do the same thing to every opposing quarterback we play. You know, they're going to be in the backfield causing. So I think it's going to be the same scenario. I don't think it's all the quarterback. I don't think the play is really that bad. I think the drop balls is a concern. You know, the fumbles is definitely a concern, but I think the interceptions. I mean, these guys are nasty, and nobody knows how good they are because we only see a little bit of tape. But after Saturday, I think we're going to see and realize why our offense is really struggling so bad.
I can say this though, and this is what I'm hoping it's not the case, right? But I think like 2 things can be true, right? Like this defense is that nasty. And the next thing is like Max Crosby is Max Crosby, bro. I expect these things. Like I expect what he's doing. If I didn't hear him doing this, we would be concerned. That's what I'm saying. Like we know what Max Crosby is. So I understand that. I understand what this defensive line is. I even said, and some people were saying I was tripping, but I even said Jack Jones can be a top 10 corner. I'm not surprised on what I'm hearing about that. Now Ja'Cory Bennett, on the other hand, we'll see. But he's playing well right now, so I can't say nothing about that. That's what we need. Trayvon Merrick seems to finally take the step in what we need him to take, be that safety we know he can be. I've always liked Marcus Epps, so I'm not tripping off that. All these things are true. But what another thing can be true is that the decision-making that we're seeing and have been reported from these reporters, they haven't reported good decision-making, right? Like, you know, you see a couple here and there, but then you see some where it's like overthrow.
Yeah, it's all sketchy.
You know, triple coverage here, and you know why is he throwing it here? Very questionable throw by Minshew. Next day, very questionable throw by AOC. Nobody can just say, "All right, bro, we're making good decisions. We're not turning the ball over." Now the defense can make their plays, but you know, and then yes, we're trying shit. It's practice. We're gonna be trying different throws. I understand, but now at a certain point, I think the reality for both of them got to start setting in. Like, all right, bro, fuck all the trying shit now. We're trying to win a position now. All that trying to throw and all that, seeing what you can do, that shit's over. Because now the position, now the race is here. So now you got to start separating yourself and actually playing the position how you would in the game. And as of right now, if they were playing in a game how they were in practice right now, we be fucked. 100% we be fucked. Both of them. It doesn't even matter. I don't even care if you like AOC or you like Gardner Minshew. If they played right now in the game the way they're playing in practice, we're fucked. If the defense don't score 2 touchdowns. That's how it's looking.
So yeah, I have to disagree on that. I think it's a lot to do with the defense we're playing right now and them not knowing the scheme. I think, you know, they're going to get better in the scheme as we go. Definitely in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be back home, you know, practicing in our own facilities. They'll be back with their families. That might have, you know, a lot to do with it. You know, AP is going to be back. Supposedly JPJ is going to be back. So I think a lot of that's going to turn around. Like we have Brock Bowers, we have Michael Mayer who have been out there. Like, here's another thing. Where all you see are these highlights of these guys making spectacular catches, right? Who's throwing them the fucking ball then?
Yeah.
If our quarterbacks are so bad that these guys are making all these spectacular plays and all these breaking touchdowns and all these plays, then who's throwing them the ball out there? It's got to be our quarterbacks, right? So they can't be that bad. Like, they're making big plays, they're making touchdowns, they're having runs, they're running for touchdowns. Minshew's running for first down. They said like 3 in a row. You know, he got sacked by Crosby. He got up and threw a pass out to White for, you know, a big play and a first down. So these guys are making plays. It's not like they're out there, you know, playing high school ball and they're just constantly making turnovers. I think people are just, you know, giving less credit to the defense because they expect them to be good. But I got to keep going back to the point that, you know, 3 years in a system makes a whole lot of difference, and there's not many changes. The only changes is Christian Wilkins and maybe, you know, corner number 2. And other than that, it's the same defense out there that, you know, they know each other. It's the same captains, it's the same leaders, and the offense has no captains right now, no leaders. and nobody's taking that leadership role. Like, so I know it goes back to the point of we got to have leadership, but it it can't just come from the quarterback. I know that's his job to be the the quarterback and the leader out there, but it's got to come from these linemen. It's got to come from these young linemen. Thayer Mumford. Somebody's got to step up
Yeah,
and take
and
leadership and get after these guys who are missing these catches. And I haven't seen any tape on that. I don't know if they're doing it or not because, like I said, we have very minimum film to go off of. So I don't. I think when we get up against another team, like I said, Saturday against Minnesota, we're going to be surprised at how good this offense clicks and how good they are. And if we don't, then I might start panicking a little bit more. But I still feel we're good, especially with the defense we have. Like they're going to get so many chances. You know what I mean?
yeah, Saturday's gonna tell us everything. That's all we can say. Saturday is the day that we're going to know exactly the type of team we have. I mean, I think we already know what type of defense is going to be. But Saturday is going to tell us a lot about this offense. How does it operate? And honestly, right, what I'm hearing, and you let me know if you've heard different. I ain't heard too much criticism on what Luke Getsy is doing. You know what I mean? Not too much criticism. I've heard like, okay, these plays look good. He's putting people in position, right? Brock Bowers gets put in position. I mean, from everything we read, what Brock Bowers does is exactly what we want him to be doing. So it's like, okay,
Right.
Michael Mayer seems to be ascending how he should, right? Can't really hear too much about the running game because it's not that much they can do in practice. We're gonna see how the running game is on Saturday. So at that point, we'll get a full understanding of how that is. But as of right now, they seem like the scheme ain't too bad. It's not like every play is getting stopped in the backfield. There's some success by Laube. You see some runs by Zamir White when you see some of the breakdowns of practice. So my main concern was Luke Getsy as well. Like, is he going to be able to put it together? Can he call plays? From all accounts, it ain't look like he's not doing his job now. So then it's like, Gardner even detailed it, which we already knew was going to be the offense, but bro, like all we doing is short intermediate routes, bro. You're not doing too much. You feel what I'm saying? Like throw it to a motherfucker here 5 yards. Throw it to somebody here 10, bro. Like that's all we need. Just don't turn the ball over. And I know some of these turnovers have come from drops as well. They've come from deflections as well. So I do credit that. You do have to say that. But there you go. You know what I mean? Another one. I'm trying to win a battle, motherfucker. You're fucking me over now. So now I'm definitely gonna get in your ass. Where's that? You feel what I'm saying? You taking food out of my mouth now. You feel what I'm saying? You drop this pass and it's an interception on my thing, and the coaches are looking at me, and everybody looking at me, and I'm supposed to win this QB battle, and I'm just going to walk to the sidelines? No, fuck that. Let's get it together, bro. I'm going to get this together. So that's what I'm saying. It just all comes back again to, like, who's going to take the bull by the horns and say, like, this is my shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know we're not going to say that they don't have pride within their performances because I know they do. You know what I mean? Gardner, Aiden, they have probably a lot of pride in their performance. But at the end of the day, now it takes it from individual to now the group, right? Like this is the standard for all of us now. I have this standard for myself, and that standard permeates throughout the offense now. You feel that's shit. We always want to. Some people want to compare them. That's Tom Brady in a nutshell. You feel what I'm saying? This is my mindset. Everybody else has that shit too. And if you fall out of that, then I'm going to get in your ass, bro. And we'll get back in the court. But if not, then you know what I mean? You probably won't be here. Then it is what it is. But that's what we need to start getting. That's what I need to start getting. So, but at the end of the day, we'll see. Because, I mean, there's game to be played. And even in the preseason game, there's situations that come up, and the team is going to be looking, all right, what are we going to do on this third and 5? You know what I mean? It's a crucial part in the game. How we going to proceed? How we going to perform? You know what I mean? So I want to see how the team, looks at each quarterback when there's certain situations that need to be had.
Right. I feel that definitely. I think the fact that, and we keep going back to this, that Garner hasn't stepped up with, having 6 years experience going into his 7th year. And to me, when I listen to AP, I see frustration in his voice about the turnovers. And the fact that he hasn't taken the bull by the horns.
I hear that too.
With that being said, Garner hasn't stepped up, and the fact that he can't, he's not way in the lead, which everybody expected to be, because all the Garner guard dog fans were saying, "Oh, he's the starter. He's the starter. It's his seventh year.
Exactly.
He's better than AOC. He can move. He can make plays with his legs, but he's out there getting sacked. I've heard about him getting sacked just as much, if not more, than Aiden O'Connell so far out there, and
It's
throwing.
true. This is true.
From the numbers I've been adding up, more turnovers than AOC has had. I think it's just by a couple, but he still had more, and he's supposed to be the veteran and the professional out there. So
Right.
that's what scares me, and the fact that AO's Aiden said AP said Aiden was going to get the first team reps, but then in the presser yesterday when somebody asked him about it, he said, well, in practice, which he never iterated that or said. So is he having second thoughts about Aiden because he's not taking the bull by the horns,
Too late
or
now.
or is he just frustrated at the fact that Gardner Minshew hasn't stepped up and
Right.
he's making all these mistakes and think we might have to rely on Aiden, or is Aiden already in the back of his mind going to be the quarterback unless Garner, like we said, has to set the bar that much higher. So is Aiden pretty much the guy if Garner doesn't step up and take the bull by the horns? And you're
See, 100% right, Reb. I think I'm gonna say it like this: the fact that everything you just said is 100% true, right? Like Gardner Minshew came in here on a $15 million contract. You know what I mean? What is Aiden O'Connell making? Nothing. So at that point, you see that everybody immediately was like, "Oh yeah, bro, Gardner's the guy." There might be a reason why he continues to journey, right? And he hasn't stuck to a team and said, "This is my team." Maybe he doesn't have the ability to take the bull by the horns and say, "This is my shit." Now you say, okay, he's never been in this position. Well, this is the position now. There's no time like the present, bro. And especially is all the Gardner people that came out and said, yeah, this is the starter. Bro, you cannot sit here and tell me if once we signed Gardner Minshew, you thought he was going to start, that you are, oh, yeah, bro, I expected him to be here right now. If you did, bro, I think you're fucking lying, or you had very low expectations on what you thought he was going to do, which is bad in itself. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you thought he would be here at this point in this competition with a fourth round, second round dude,
yeah.
come on, dog. Come on, dog. You feel what I'm saying? This to me fares well for Aiden. It does. Because this is the dude that's supposed to be more veteran. He's supposed to already have this shit figured out, regardless of if we learning this shit or not. He's supposed to have this shit figured out. I'm still hanging around. I'm still here. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think if it's dead even, it's gonna go to Aiden. I really do.
You said earlier about something I wanted to touch on, that you said this offensive system has been throwing a lot of short passes. Kind of like we did when we had Rich Gannon in there, little 5-10 yard dunks, and let the guys run with it. That really suits Garner way better than it does AOC style, in my opinion. So, is that maybe another reason, the frustration? And I said we were going to touch on the frustration. Like, do you feel Garner's just frustrated because the defense, or the fact that he can't beat out this kid that's in his second year, that's a fourth round pick? Is it starting to get to him mentally that, hey, I should be in the lead and I can't? Like, do you think a lot of his turnovers is him just trying to make plays to be that guy?
I think that is. I think it is, because now we're getting, like I said, you can feel, especially when you playing and you're in a competition for a spot, you can feel when it's starting to get towards the end, or you can feel like, okay, I got to start making some shit happen because I haven't separated myself. And at the same time, we talk about the play styles. Aiden has something that Gardner will never have, and some people can debate me on this, and everybody's like, oh, what is that? Accuracy, bro. Gardner will never have Aiden's accuracy, ever. No. There are certain plays
or
that
his arm strength.
No, there are certain plays that Aiden has thrown that I've seen, right? And you talk about all these throws you saw to Bowers and Mayer and all that, right? We've seen there's certain throws that even we've heard about or even read about that it's like Aiden put that where only he can get it. You know what I mean? And Gardner's done that sometimes as well, but I hear that more from Aiden. It's like he's only putting this here, and there is no DA there. I think DA ain't been there since really the whole entirety of pads being on. For real. I don't think he really has.
And he wasn't out there in OTAs or
Not really. You
the
feel
only
what I'm
time
saying?
the only time he came out was mandatory minis, and then he was out there after that for for a while. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think,
he's a vet. He
as of
don't
right
have to
now,
be. He knows the system better than anybody, but he should be out there teaching them the
yeah.
system for the guys that don't know and helping his quarterbacks.
But I fully understand, I fully understand why he's not there. I mean, he's
Well,
got a
yeah, I
baby
mean,
on the
right,
way, you know
yeah,
what I'm
right
saying?
this
Yeah.
second. But I mean,
Yeah.
before that, like when he
Oh,
was
yeah, for sure. Before that, I don't
like,
know what he was doing. I think he had something else going on. But at the end of the day, him not being there, we understand, that takes away from half of the playmaking right there. You know what I mean? That takes away at least 45%. You feel what I'm saying? 45% of that playmaking right there because he's a Hall of Fame talent. We already know what he does. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I've already said this, Aiden's skill set complements Devontae's skill set 100%. Now, we can talk about
yep,
all that running and doing all that other shit, but
and
Devontae
Jacoby
needs an accurate
Myers.
quarterback. Yeah, and Jacoby Myers too. They need accurate quarterbacks. You know what I mean? That's what they thrive on because they get different types of coverages. They need the ball placed in certain places, right? And then we talk about I keep saying this, and this is why another reason I'm like maybe Aiden can work with DA. Man, a portion of Devontae's game since he's came to the Raiders has been lost, which is the back shoulder art, right?
Yep.
Like when he was with Green Bay, I see that damn near every week. Unstoppable, bro. Nobody can stop that. He's one of the best receivers at doing that. He can't do that since being here because we had shitty quarterbacks with no accuracy that can't really get him the ball. Now, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Derek was cool, but he's not super accurate either." When he won, like sometimes his shit gets sporadic. You feel what I'm saying? We've all seen that. But at the end of the day, with Aiden, he got that accuracy. Now the problem is when teams start to heat that ass up, what are we gonna do? That's the whole thing. What's the backup plan? And I've yet to hear the answer on what we're gonna do about that. We've yet to see. Maybe Minnesota throw a blitz at his ass and he sidesteps something this weekend. You know what I mean? He throws something nice. Maybe.
Well, I've seen him make plenty of plays where he's sidestep and like the play where to Myers where they won the game against the Jets. Like he ducked under a guy come in, avoided another guy through through a dime where only Meyer could get it with the guy in his face. Like so he can make those plays. He's definitely capable of making those plays, but a lot of that is the coaching staff wasn't willing to let him take that role to make those plays as a rookie, and they're still not really they're still not really ready to let him take that role right now because he's not taking a leadership role and he's not showing that he can be that guy. So I think they're going to be a lot more conservative in these games coming out, or they might just come out and sling it and rely on the defense, to do their thing and keep getting us the ball as many times as they can. I mean, I don't know. I think it's somebody definitely has to step up, but I think the frustration is getting to Garner, and you can see it in the press conference today. He wasn't, cracking jokes like he usually does. He seemed just a little bit irritated, and Leo wanted to know is it Garner's just not good enough? Hold on, let me find it. Or is AOC just getting that much better?
That's a great observation you just had, though, Rebel, about Gardner's press conference today. Now, people was laughing, right? But you got to understand, when you're just like a sarcastic dude, or you're, people gonna laugh at shit even when you're serious. That's the whole thing. And
Yeah,
today,
he
I'm
didn't
glad
have that. He didn't have that charisma today. That's
he was
why
dead ass serious. He was dead ass serious today.
I read people a lot. I'm good at, and I could tell, like, that's why I was saying AP kind of seemed, when they keep asking him about the quarterback thing, he just seems more frustrated. And, he talks about Garner not turning the ball over, and he needs to stop turning the ball over, but he doesn't really have much criticism about Aiden. He says, well, Aiden had some drops and the ball went through players' hands. Like, kind of like he's defending them, in my opinion, a little bit more Aiden, and he's, wanting more out of Garner than he's getting. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a great observation. I don't think he was all happy go lucky too. Now motherfuckers was laughing in that interview, but I don't think he was fully joking in that interview. I think he was dead ass serious for most of that interview. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because of what you just detailed. The competition coming to a head, bro. Like it's time to nut up or shut up at this point. And you ain't separated yourself up to this point. You've turned the ball over. it's starting to get stressful in this motherfucker because now you can't. Every mistake magnifies now. Every mistake compiles.
Exactly.
Now shout out to Leo. Leo was there, and he also says it. Aiden has a better arm. He does. He has a way better arm. Now the mobility factor is a factor. It is. But then again, like I said, if you're gonna play with that risk reward, the Mahomes style play, and trust me, Mahomes does the risk reward too. He just gets more reward than he does risk. You know what I mean?
A lot of his risk reward is he throws it to his security blanket and Kelsey.
Exactly.
Like,
he's gonna do his thing, bro. Like, and at the end of the day, you know what I mean? A lot of times he does that improv shit. You just say what it is, bro. He knows what he's doing. You feel what I'm saying? But not everybody's fucking Patrick Mahomes. Not everybody's fucking Lamar Jackson. You can be able to do the improv shit, but you're not as good. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what does it matter if the motherfucker runs around? He runs around for 10 seconds, he throws a pick. What does that like? Who cares if he just ran around and did that? Yeah. Who gives a shit?
And if you look at statistics, you know, mobile quarterbacks get sacked more than pocket passing quarterbacks. You know, it's just a fact, and it's a stat. You know, you can't numbers don't lie. Like because they hold the ball longer because they think that at any moment they can break away and run, and a lot of the times that judgment is off. You know, or
and that's the problem.
They try to get out of the pocket, and they have these fast linebackers nowadays that can run 4.40s and can catch them in a heartbeat. So they're not as quick. They definitely can't get out of the pocket. So mobile quarterbacks take a lot more sacks. Aiden only took 23 sacks last year. That was like 20 in the 20th. He was almost at the bottom of the league last year. A lot of people say he's not mobile and he took a lot of sacks, but if you look at the numbers, like Lamar Jackson had like 40 something sacks. So 40 something sacks to Aiden. I mean, I know he played in a couple more games, but it's still that's a big difference.
I know you on Aiden's side, and I know you like Aiden. And I'll say this for you, Turf, all these guys, he gonna have to do something on Saturday. Ain't no doubts about that.
100%.
Gardner too, but Saturday to me is more important for Aiden in any other aspect. Why? Because we know what Gardner's gonna do. You feel what I'm saying? He gonna run around. He might make a little splash play here and there, right? But for Aiden, we need to see that pinpoint accuracy, especially if he go with the ones. You feel what I'm saying? What I would like to see. My ideal Aiden drive is like if he gets that motherfucker at 25 and marches that thing all the way for a touchdown. Boom. That's all I need to see. You know what I'm saying? And it's a steady march. And he does his thing. He's accurate. You know what I mean? He puts the ball in good places. He marches that down for a touchdown. That's what you need to see. And we can see he avoids some pressure. That's what I need to see. You know what I mean? He needs to avoid some pressure on Saturday too. Show all that work he was doing in the offseason. Everybody said he was getting slim and, getting mobile.
Aiden looked good today in the presser. Like I seen, he's definitely packing on a little muscle and losing that little baby, baby boy body, starting to get that into that man body.
It's got to show on Saturday, bro. I think it's more important for him on Saturday than it is Gardner. I think if if Gardner does okay, I think it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make him good or bad at that point. I think Aiden has to do his thing and win the battle. That's what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to have to shine. But the one thing that he has going for him, I think he only had 2 incompletions last year in the preseason, and he played a lot in the preseason last year. So, and also if you look at a lot of his games, except for the Minnesota game, almost every game he played in, we came down and scored a lot of I can't remember the percentage. I had it wrote down, but I wasn't ready today. But there was a lot of drives that were on the first drive. We came down and scored. So he's big at scoring right off the bat. They might fall off a little bit, but I think a lot of that was once we come down and score and we have a lead right away, they started playing conservative, and that's a lot on the coaching and the fact that we had a rookie play caller last year.
Right.
This year we have a veteran play caller. He's not gonna slack. I think he's already shown in practice that he's putting tons of pressure on these quarterbacks, and he's going to continue to do so. So I think, I think that's going to be huge in the long run. And like they say, iron sharpens iron. So going up against this defensive line and this defense and the defensive backfield that we have is just going to make these guys better. And they not like us. There's not a lot of teams that they not like us. So there's a lot of teams we're going to go against that don't have the defensive backfield or the defensive front we have, and it's going to make things a lot. I mean, like the Bengals. The Bengals don't have great defense. The Carolina Panthers. They're not really that. So
So I will say this. If I can, I'm all about. And I love when football season comes because I'm all about storylines. You feel what I'm saying? I think, sports is made up of storylines. Sometimes we talk about Aiden and this Minnesota defense, right? Yeah, when the last time you saw this defense? You know what I mean? It was 3-0. I would love for you to come out here and immediately rectify that shit with a touchdown. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I want him to start. That's why I want him to even start week 1. Because week 1, you got your ass kicked like last time at SoFi. You feel what I'm saying? At SoFi, it wasn't pretty for you. Let me see that shit again. I'm all about the storyline, bro. When you play Minnesota this week, what I want to see is a little bit of that fuck you and Aiden and say, last time I saw you, bro, I kind of got embarrassed. Motherfuckers be talking about that. So this time I'm about to go ahead and put 7 on your dome. Quick. You feel what I'm saying? Easy. And dispel all that shit. That's what I want to see from my quarter. I come from the Kobe shit, bro. Like, that's what I want to see.
Right, I hear you.
I don't want to see all that soft shit. Like, oh, whatever the case. Fuck all that, bro. I want to see that Kobe mentality. That's what I want. And, Max got it. But where is it on offense? That's what we need to see.
I think it's definitely going to come out against an opposing team. Like you said, we don't have any leaders right there in the back right now. And, I mean, we have a couple, but they're not really out there. We got a rookie running back taking reps. We got rookie receivers out there getting a lot of reps. We got, a rookie right tackle getting the first string starts. And another thing is for the, on the receivers, the receivers defense is you constantly got 2 quarterbacks switching up. Like, how different is that for them and the offensive line to 1 minute you're holding up, your pass protection for a running quarterback, and the next your pass protection for a so-called statue, as people want to say, a pocket passer. So what does that do for the receivers, the timing, for the offensive line's timing? I mean, there's a lot of kinks that have to be worked out. And, when you have 2 completely different quarterbacks, they're going to struggle. The receivers are going to struggle. You get, Trey Tucker and Jacoby, was working out with Aiden all summer long. They were every morning throwing balls and shit. Supposedly, well, Trey Tucker even said that they were in the park throwing balls every morning. In one of his interviews. So, they're out there working together, and then you got Garner in there that his timing in the play is going to be off, because if he's getting pressure, he's going to roll out. So that's longer that the play has to go, and these guys have to instead of running their route tree, they're making plays on the fly or trying to get open on the fly. That's going to help. That's going to hurt these young receivers also. So there's just a lot of key aspects that's we have to get, a lot of kinks we need to work out. Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of kinks. Number one, Trey, man. Trey's disappointed me, man. I have a lot of hopes for Trey Tucker, man. He just get that right. I think he can. So not gonna trip too much, but he's disappointing me right now. He's got to get his shit together. And I know a lot of people in here talking about who else will we want at quarterback. I mean, it was very thin, bro. But at the end of the day, we're right. A question I do have to ask you, I mean, this defense is doing everything. We barely talk about them. As of right now, it seems like there's no weakness. So I know people are you worried the fact about Tyree or anything like that, about some of these guys we not hearing about? Or are you just saying like the defense as a whole is balling? So not really concerned about anybody on defense.
I think there might be a couple guys, like Faison, that's injured again, and might be worrying about that roster spot. I think there's guys like Byron Young are stepping up. You got Marshawn McCall out there that's been balling left and right. Every time I see something, that dude's out there. I hear Max Crosby screaming, "Good job, Marshawn!" So that dude's out there from the Panthers. He definitely wants to make this roster and show that the Panthers shouldn't let him go. Then you got Adam Butler that's saying, "Hey, I want to be seen. I want to be more than a third down back. I want people to know my name. Like, I want to be talked about with in the likes of the names of Crosby and Wilkins, and I want to get paid." He's not happy with his contract, so I mean that definitely puts Tyree Wilson at 5th, 6th string, like depending on who you keep, because But he got 2 sacks yesterday, so it's definitely a battle. Like, where does that put
See,
Jenkins? Where does that put Jenkins? The older guys that have been here for a while. Like, if Byron Young is balling out, and these
right.
guys, are they taking somebody's spot there on that defensive line, or are we going to go with left defensive line and put them on the practice squad because we need, keep more corners or more running
Very
backs
true.
or more
Very
wide
true.
receivers or another quarterback? We might need to keep
Right.
Hey, at this point, we might need to keep four
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
At this point, bro. At
Our-
this point, and I
so
see you about Tyree. I mean, maybe it's because I look at it a little different, right? I see this year as the true rookie year,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like I see this year as the true first year, getting itself together. And I think next year, and I know people are gonna quiver, they gonna hate me saying that, but it's true, bro. I think next year is the year we see the full package. The next year is the year we're like, okay, that's the number 7 overall pick right there. This year, we're going to see little glimpses, and he's getting his feet under him. He's doing his thing. Ask my man Leo, did he look a little better? Yeah, definitely. Definitely looked a little better. But, gradual steps, bro. I'm willing to be patient with that because we have the D line to do so. So, I know he's running with the twos right now, but like I said, this defensive line, is going to be ran. So, I mean, it's going to be ran. Everybody's going to get a chance to play the way this defensive line going to be rotating. So I'm not really tripping about him running with twos as far as the defensive line.
So yeah, I think that's another thing that's hurting these quarterbacks is mixing back and forth ones and twos. Different linemen, different receivers. You can't get timing. Football's all about timing. It's timing with your receivers. It's knowing your offensive line. And if you're constantly flipping guys in and out, flipping guys, changing position. Like last week, I heard that the left side was so bad that they put in Whitehair, they put in Jalen McKenzie, they put in. They were trying everybody they could over there. They were putting, different guys at tackle. Like these guys were just getting beat left and right by Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson and Adam Butler. And these guys were just smoking these guys. So, you say you're not worried about the offensive line, but I heard the left side was so bad that they didn't know, that they had to move Munford over to the left side to try to stop the bleeding and put, the rookie DJ Glaze in at right. And now he's getting, a lot more snaps over there. And Mumford was getting snaps with the twos, but now I'm hearing that they're both getting a lot of snaps with the ones that. So I mean, if it's that bad that you got to put a rookie over, I mean, I know he held his own with Crosby, but is the offensive line really that solid when you have to move guys over and put other guys in different spots and to stop the bleeding?
Yeah, we definitely gonna see on Saturday. I mean, I don't think. I mean, the Vikings lost Daniil Hunter, so I mean, there goes that. But I think if I'm not mistaken, did they only pick up JJ McCarthy or did they get another edge? They got another edge as well? I believe they picked up somebody else too. If I'm not tripping. So
I think they did.
So at the end of the day, their defensive line is cool. It's formidable for sure.
But
Their defense
it's not ours,
is
so.
Yeah, it's not ours. So we'll see how this looks. You know what I mean? We'll see how this looks on Saturday. But like I said, I don't think they're that bad. I don't. I think they're all right. I just think they're all right. I don't think they're, top 10 or anything. They're just cool. Okay. And as of right now, it's gonna look bad if a quarterback is statuesque, we'll say, right? Like if he can't move,
Right.
It's gonna look bad for sure. Or even for your Gardner people, if the quarterback is mobile and he's holding on to the goddamn ball and he's running around and running into sacks, that's another problem. So, the quarterback play can make the line look worse than what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely believe that. And like you said, Tyree, I mean, he's showing signs. Every time you hear any of the coaches talk, they're saying, baby steps. You hear even Adam Butler when he asked, he said, he's taking baby steps. He's coming along. So how much timing do they give him being a 7th round pick?
It's gonna be 3 years, bro.
I know the expectations are huge for Raider Nation, and they want everybody to be in, right away as soon as they can. You know what I mean? So that it's not sounding good for him, really. In my point, like, do you think if the quarterback situation is that bad going into week 3 or 4, and we still don't know really who's the guy. Could you see possibly Malcolm Kuntz or Tyree Wilson getting put up on a trading block for a quarterback? Say maybe like a, I don't even want to say this name, but a lot of people are saying Trey Lance, Dak Prescott. I mean, I don't know why you'd bring in a Trey Lance, but
Bro,
the dude's. I mean, he
if we
could.
traded Tyree
But
Wilson for
whoever
Trey
even who even brought that up is just ridiculous because that dude couldn't beat out Jimmy G, and you want to bring him here to the Raiders? Like, I don't even
Lance.
know. Like, that's
Yeah,
just
I don't mean to
ridiculous.
cut you off, brother, but yeah, if we bring Trey Lance, if we trade Tyree Wilson for Trey Lance, I might have a full on breakdown on my fucking channel. I'm not even gonna lie because that right there would be one of the worst trades ever. I think honestly, and that's what I'm saying. No, nobody's gonna like the fact I'm saying this, and I understand, but I've said this from the jump, and I will remain consistent in this fact. It's gonna take this man 3 years in order for us to see why we picked him 7th overall. If he don't show up in them 3 years, well, of course you get the fuck rid of him. But
Yeah.
this year, and the reason why I say 3 years, first year, last year, yeah, it's whatever. You feel what I'm saying? That first year was cool. I'd say this second year is the true first year. The true year where we sit and say, okay, now you're fully healthy. You get to come into training camp. You get to do this, this, and that. All right, cool. Fine. Now we see what you can do when you can put your full package together for a whole training camp. But now the third year is where everything comes together, right? You've already had a full training camp, a full season. You've played, you've learned technique, you're healthy. This next year, 2025, is when we going to be like, okay, that's that number 7 overall motherfucker right there. You feel what I'm saying? Exactly how Kuntz's trajectory went. A lot of people like to get mad at Tyree, and I understand he's a 7th round pick. But still, bro, a draftee is a draftee. It don't matter if he's number 7 or 77. They all got to fucking grow at some point. You don't want your dude to blow his load at the first goddamn year, and then he don't grow after that. Then
Pause.
what pause on that. But at the end of the day, true shit. Like, what sense does it make? You do the dude is good 1 year, and then he just stays that way. It's what
Okay.
you know what I mean. You want growth, so you look right. I think you feel me. He gonna take the same Malcolm Kuntz trajectory where it's like, yeah, boom, third year we there.
So what, like, with that all being said, at the end of the day, when you got all these guys in front of you, like Adam Butler, who wants to be that every down back and doesn't want to let anybody else come in, and you know Christian Wilkins is going to be that every down back, and you know Crosby's going to be that, and you know Kuntz probably going to get a lot more than he did last year.
Right.
How do we even tell, or how do we, critique, or how do we, view his progress if he's not getting in the game or not getting reps? If he's getting 2, 3, 5, 6 reps a game, like that's not enough to evaluate his process in my opinion. And if these guys like Butler continue to just come out there and ball out, and Byron Young, where does that put Tyree Wilson? Like, is he completely out of the picture? Like, you can't evaluate somebody's progress if you're not getting game reps, or you're not getting reps. I mean, you're going to get reps on practice, but it's not the same. So does that put him behind the 8 ball, or I mean?
Well, honestly, because I think he's probably the backup for 2 positions, right? Like, he's probably already the number 2 for Adam Butler, and he's probably already the number 2 for Malcolm Kuntz. And I think he's gonna play a lot, bro. I think this D line is gonna rotate so much, you know what I mean, that we'll see him a lot and we'll see him often. But I think as of right now, they'll use him in spots. And hey, Chris, stop it. But I think they'll use him in spots that he's, strong. He's a great run defender right now. He's a good run defender.
Yep.
So he's going to play that run nice. I know he's going to do that at the very minimal. Right now, we all want the pass rush shit. We all want the pass rush, but goddamn it, why you want that right now from him? He's got to grow, and all you want to pay Malcolm Kuntz right now. What the hell are we going to pay Malcolm Kuntz for then? You feel what I'm saying? If you want Tyree to do all this pass rushing. If that's what you want, then why would we shell out this bread to 5-1? It don't make sense. So Let him grow in the background. Let Malcolm Kuntz do what he's good at. Hopefully, Malcolm Kuntz can take on more of a, a bigger role as far as playing the pass and run. But as of right now, bro, let Tyree build in the background slow.
In the background slow, like, see, that's not going to work, fit well with the nation. Being a 7th-round pick, like, people, guys like Chris wants him in right away. And, guys like Gravy is like, oh, that dude should have 15 sacks, this season, last season on a half of a leg.
So that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. And I know the nation gonna get mad at us for saying that because everybody want it right now. And trust me, certain positions.
What have you done for me lately, Janet Jackson?
Bro, certain positions you want that. Like if we drafted a quarterback this year, you goddamn right I want that right now. You feel what I'm saying? You goddamn right. And we understand that. But when you have this type of D-line, we have the luxury of being able to have a dude like that in the background with that physical tool and say, all right, bro, we gonna build you. You know what I mean? We're not throwing the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feel what I'm saying? And which some players may not be able to thrive on. You feel what I'm saying? So I think this is it. I think we can be able to let him build if our D-line is going to be as strong as we think it's going to be, right? That's starting 4 or 5 is going to be as strong as we think it can be.
So, he got 2 sacks. He's been I don't know if anybody's seen the interview, go check it out, but they were talking to the defensive line coach, and he said that Tyree Wilson made a play where he ran completely around the field and chased the defender 30 yards down the field and made a tackle. And they said they put that on film today and was showing. He was like, so that's our expectations from now on. Like, that's what we expect of you. Like, if you can do that right there, like, that's what we want from you every single play, and that's what we're going to expect from you. So, 2 questions, I guess, on that. If he can't do that every play and he's not showing that, is it going to, set him back, or the coach is going to, lose interest and be like, man, if he can do it part-time, but he can't do it all the time, maybe we should let this guy go or trade him. We didn't bring him in. It's not, it's not our picks. Or on the other hand, if he does keep coming along, does that hurt Malcolm Kuntz? Do they not sign Malcolm Kuntz? Do we not keep Kuntz if Tyree keeps, shining and starts to ball out and, comes up with a couple sacks in preseason, every game and shows that he's definitely not going to be a Malcolm Kuntz on the end. I mean, that's not going to happen.
He don't got that bend. He don't
have that bend. He don't have the technique. He don't have the, the footwork. He don't have none of that, the speed. But he
ain't got none of that. But what I will say, number one, Chris and Leo, y'all are showing y'all are bona fide haters in the comment section right there. You see what I'm saying? Your boy get a sack. And there's stipulations on the sack.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? He does something good and he takes a step. There's stipulations on the step. Look here, bro. You think he was doing that last year, chasing motherfuckers down? I don't think so. I don't think he was last year. Now this year, the reason they say that is because now that's an improvement. Now it's like, all right, bro, that's the shit I want to see. Now it's not talking about, that's a good play because he's chasing somebody downfield. But what's the whole thing that y'all were saying? Oh, he looks lazy. He looks lackadaisical. Well, damn, he's trying to change that. Let the man change that. Let him do his thing, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Let him grow. That's a step. That's a good step right there because now you learn to work. You know what I'm saying? Chris loved to be a hater, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I love Chris.
I'll take one shine, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, you didn't say all that, Leo. That was wild. But yeah, bro. Just let him keep growing. Let him keep taking his steps. You feel what I'm saying? Every time Jacorian Bennett knocks a pass down. You feel what I'm saying? Every time he knocks a pass down, Chris and Leo come over here. I told you. All right, hey. You feel what I'm saying?
Leo trying to get nasty in the chat. We're here talking crazy shit. Bro, that TMI, bro. Come on, man. We keeping it semi family in here. That's gangsters right there, bro. You coming with that shit.
Oh man. Dog,
pause if necessary. I don't know if we do pauses here, but we might have to pause on that comment.
Man. Yeah,
let the man develop. Let the man develop.
Thank you. Let him develop. in some capacity. I mean, I understand it's a number 7 overall pick. We need it now. We want it now. I get it. Like I said, if that was a quarterback or some other position, I'm like, yeah. And we didn't already have some dogs in the room. I'm like, shit. All right, let's do it. But
Sack them thumbs up. Share
yeah,
it
bro.
alive.
But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, we got some dogs in the room already, bro. We don't have to put the weight of the world on his shoulders immediately right now. Don't have
We'll
to.
see. That's my thing is, if Tyree, what spot is he taking? What guys aren't going to make this team that have been showing out, like that Stone and Marshawn McCall and guys like that are Byron Young. Like, how many of these guys do we keep around? In
Right.
If he's going to be that guy, is it really worth the risk just because he was a 7th-round pick to wait and see when we have all these defensive linemen? We could probably get something for him now, especially if he balls out in preseason. I mean, I don't want to trade him. I want to see him come along, but it's just that factor that
Right.
with all the guys that we have that have been balling, and you don't hear his name much except for the 2 sacks. They were talking about, and Rob Leonard saying, always saying that he's coming along slowly, but how slow? Like, we might need those guys out there on the field, that backup spot. And is he going to be at end? Is he going to be at nose? With
See,
Adam
that's the
Butler
thing, and
wanting
I
to play
think
every down, he's going to get less reps, and you can't value his, can't test his value if we're not seeing him out there. That's just my thing.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think we're gonna see on Saturday if he's still slow off that motherfucking line on Saturday, then we definitely got a problem. So that'll be the next thing. But I like our D-line coach. Our D-line coach got some fire. You know what I mean? Chris showed me a clip of Leonard, and I like him. I really do. I think he's the right coach to try to develop him. And for sure, tune in Saturday, bro. That's gonna be epic. So definitely tune in Saturday. Gonna be a fun show. But yeah, bro. I mean, we cannot expect him to do all this greatness, and this man barely done got healthy. But what I will say is, exactly. But what I will say, Saturday's gonna tell us. Like I said, if we got to see how he comes off the line. We got to see how he looks on Saturday. I got to see, what improvements have been made. I don't even know what improvements have been made. So
I've seen a lot of improvement in the footwork and the tapes that they've been showing. Like, there was a couple tapes like on DSR Live we were breaking down, but he looked faster than Max Crosby and Malcolm Coons running through the little foot bags and the footwork, and I was very surprised. I was like, man, he definitely made it through those bags faster than Max Crosby. So as big as that man is with that much strength, if Rob Leonard could get speed out of this guy and work on his technique and his bend, he's just a monster that we can't afford to let go. But look, so the linebacker group, I know you got your boy Devon Diablo projected to be that second guy.
right.
Do you think that's going to continue, or do you think Eichenberg, the way he's been playing out there, or Chris's favorite Luke Masterson is going to beat out between y'all two, like Chris Masterson or Devon Diablo, Luke Masterson or Devon Diablo? Who you got?
As of right now, it's gonna be Diablo. But long term, as the season goes on, Masterson gonna play more. That's how I feel. And definitely, Leo, pull up, man. We gonna make it right. We gonna make it right, bro. We do that, make it a mini TRS thing, but and see what turf on. But yeah, bro. I think honestly, it's I think Divine is gonna start immediately, and Luke, as the season goes on, will get more snaps. But this is the thing. I think Eichenberg can play. The only problem is the position that he's playing is being occupied by a dude that can be a Pro Bowler. So it's like, I can't really be too mad that he's not going to play. I understand why he's not playing. You know what I mean? He's playing the same position as Robert Spillane. So he's not going to play over Robert Spillane the way Spillane is playing. So he's going to have to take a back seat to that. And that's all right. But if maybe he could find, and that's, they asked him a question. I think Hondo asked him that question, asked AP, you think you could put Eichenberg at the wheel or the Sam? You know what I mean? And he said, no, just Mike for right now. So that kind of takes that away. But at the end of the day, I think Luke is gonna play more as the season goes on.
What's your thoughts on players like Amari Burney and Gaynor? Like these guys that they were kind of defensive ends. They're kind of moving, linebacker. They're bouncing them around. Like you see them having a spot this year, or
I see them making it in special teams roles. I see, if because we need those athletic bodies on the special teams. So that's how I feel like dudes of those names like Bernie, Gaynor, they'll make their burn like that. You know what I mean? They'll get on the field like that, but I don't see them getting too many defensive snaps as we go.
so special teams. What do you see? Jack Jones has been running kick returns. He got one for a touchdown. That's a lot of, another thing people aren't talking about. Not only can our defense and, our offense put up points when they're clicking, but now we got special teams and we got, guys that are dynamic with the ball in their hands like Jack Jones. And then you got, guys like Dylan Labe back there. And you got, when they were asked about Jack Jones kicking, the special teams coach said, I don't know nothing about Jack Jones kicking, but that was a bald-faced lie because he's been out there and there have been pictures of the man kicking. So he straight up lied to us and said that shit wasn't happening, trying to keep it on the hush-hush. But what do you think, having a player like Jack Jones kicking the ball and being in a full running sprint when he kicks the ball is definitely going to be, 10 yards, going to be down there 10 yards before anybody else. Like, do you think it's a good idea risking, putting our number one corner out there on special team plays that, are going to be hectic and seem, a lot of rugby style? Or do you think
and not to cut you off, but only on times where it's like that we need him to. He's got that type of athletic ability, so I understand why you would do it. But he already took one to the crib. He the only one I heard take one to the crib. I've been thinking maybe Tucker can do it, maybe Laube can do it, but I'm not hearing them do anything like that either. So, I don't know. I think honestly, they're probably not gonna do too much because they probably wasn't taking him to the ground or nothing like that either. So I don't think he's probably gonna do too much of the returning, but I think he can do it if we need.
Yeah, but what do you see like on just kicking where he's kicking the ball? Like
now kicking the ball, that's interesting. That just shows how much of an athlete the dude is. I think he might be the emergency kicker, if anything. But he probably might be that.
Do you think it's an advantage for us? Like I was saying, like if he's kicking, he gets a running start and before anybody else gets there. So with him as the kicker, he's going to be down the field, before 10, 15 yards before anybody else with his speed. Like, is that an advantage? Could it be something that we do a lot? Because, they're trying it and they're saying, you have that zone between the 20 and the 20-yard line in the end zone where you got to put the ball. So, if he consistently put the ball in that neighborhood, something you would be willing to try out in the preseason or to see where it works? So you think it's scary just having him out there in that position?
Yeah, I wouldn't even have him out there doing that. I think that's only a practice thing, but and only maybe an emergency thing is the only time I do something like that.
Yeah, see, I think that would be a huge advantage. Like it's just him being the first one down there. Like if he's kicking the ball,
right.
They're definitely not getting no yardage because they're going to have to fair catch almost every single time.
Damn near,
with his speed, So if he can, that would be, I think, a huge advantage for us if he can continue to put the ball right where they need to and do kickoffs like that. But it might be a disadvantage for the kicker. He might not be as happy with that.
Yeah, and these new kickoff rules are going to be weird. I can't wait to see them on Saturday. That's where I'm at. I can't wait to see where the kickoff rules land. How it kind of opens up advantages for there. Why are we giving up a 30-yard? It's not his fault. Yeah, he ran it down. That's not his fault.
He was the one stopping the 30 from it getting any farther. Like he ran all the way around the field, and that's not the only time. Like I have a video coming out. I've been shit with work and trying to do this live shit and make videos. It's almost impossible, but I got one I've been trying to work on where Tyree had a bunch of plays where he chase down running backs, chase down quarterbacks from across the other side of the field. So a lot of people say he's slow, but he don't show it on tape. When his burst, get off might be slow, but he was on one leg for a lot of the year. So there's a lot of plays where that guy's just his motor, and Max Crosby is definitely running off on him.
Yeah, yeah, and see, that's exactly what we need. That's what I'm talking about. We need all that energy to continue to feed off, right? You know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm saying. Let that feed off. He wasn't doing that year one, but now, you know what I mean? We got him doing that. We got him in rhythm. We got him on more technique. So I say I already know he's a good run defender, but I need him to turn to a great run defender, and then I need him to turn into a good pass rusher. That's where I need it right now.
Definitely, I agree with that totally. So, man, I know you was short on time and you wanted to keep it to a minimum. So, going into Saturday, just give me the 5 number one things that you want to see from this team that would make you feel better about what we got going on.
Okay. 5 things. We'll say that. Number 1, I want to see offensive consistency, right? And when I say that, I mean whoever's going to be there as far as the quarterback, I want to see how we move the ball at a consistent pace, right? I want to see even in a full 15-minute quarter, maybe you get maybe 2 possessions out of that. How do you handle those 2 possessions, right? Are you consistent from possession to possession? So boom, want to see that. Number 2, the play calling. I need to see the play calling. I want to see how good that is and how that does kind of fall into the consistency as well, but I want to see how Getsy puts it together. So that's something I will be looking forward to. That's something that I hope looks good, looks consistent, looks like there's a plan in place, right? Because for the last 2 years, Raiders offense looks like there has been no plans in place. Number 3, I want to see rookies and dudes on the bubble playing, right? I need to see it all. Like Brock Bowers, need to see him out there. Tyree Wilson, need to see him out there. Jacorian Bennett, need to be out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these guys that are young or that are in their second year or they're on the bubble need to be out there. All them to that. That's the next thing I need to see. Let's see the young talent really go out there, really shine, right? Really put on the show and show why, they deserve to be on the team. So that's that. Number 4, right? I was gonna save it for the last one, but I'll put it for this one. I want to see some intensity, bro. I want to see some intensity. This is mainly on the offensive side, right?
Some fire.
Right, exactly. We've talked about the defense, and I kind of know how the defense is gonna play, how they should play, right? How they will be bred to play because of our head coach. But now you talk about that offense, right? Like, all right, the whole thing is, we've been in practice. They've been going against our defense. All right, bro, you're going against somebody else now. Now let's go ahead and see that fire. Let's see that intensity. So that's what I want to see right here going into that. And now, number 5, this is the most important of it all, and this is for the quarterback position. This is the turnover, right? The turnovers. Who's going to turn the ball over first on Saturday? That'll be my number 1 question, right? Who's going to turn the ball over first when you talk about Aidano'Connell and you talk about Gardner Minshew? Who's going to be the first one to give the ball away? Who's going to be the first one to put the ball in harm's way? And that right there, we're going to see the quarterback battle right there unfold right between our eyes, right in front of our eyes, right? Because you talk about, if Gardner gets out there and he start throwing ducks and taters and all that other shit, I think this right here, you can, it's a different tune, right? If Gardner does that and Aiden plays clean or switch it around, same thing, right? So, that'll be the last thing that I'm looking for, bro. Turnovers, like who's gonna give it away, who's gonna play clean.
So that they're only going to play a quarter apiece. What's your expectations for that quarter? Like what do you want to see yard and like touchdown wise or drive wise or for each candidate?
Okay, so like I said, you get 15 minutes. Depending on how things is going, you might get 2 to 3 possessions in that 15 minutes, 2 probably. You get 2 to 3 in that time frame. So out of them 2 to 3 drives, right? You would like to see you would like to see them get in the scoring position out of 2 out of 3 of them. Say if they got 3 drives, right? You would like to see them get in the scoring position 2 out of the 3 times. Whether that be a touchdown, field goal, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, regardless of the fact, right? I need to see how they get into that, right? How do they score? How do they keep the like I said, the continuity moving as we go into the quarter? So that'd be the biggest thing. So that's what I'd be looking for. I want to see if you get 3 drives, I need to see you get in the scoring range 2 of them drives, at least. And if it's 1 out of 3, and you're going 3 and out of them, you know what I mean? Like now it's looking ugly, real ugly. And you turn the ball over as well. Yeah, now, eesh.
Right. So put you on a limb here. Predictions for the game.
All right, I love it.
Score wise.
Score. Low score. 23-17. Us. I will say predictions. First quarter. I say right now, I think it's off the top of my dome, bro. It's off the top of the dome. Right now, I think that Gardner's probably going to get the first team reps. He's probably going to get the first team reps the way it's going, the way it's looking, just because of the scrimmage, right? I think he might. But that don't mean nothing. I mean, it just depends how he looks. So he might, if he does, he goes out there, he plays okay. I think he goes out there and he don't do too much. I think he tries to be secure. Aiden, I think, is gonna be the one that goes out there and slings that motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. I think he's gonna be the one that slings that motherfucker. And I think he goes out there and he tries to really, really get things going. I did say 17 points. I don't think they'll score 17 points. I'll put them more below that in like 12. They'll get somewhere like 12 to 10 category, something like that.
I was gonna say, don't they have a new system and new quarterbacks as well? Like 17 points against this. I know it's preseason, but man, we're deep on the
That's
defensive
true.
side.
Yeah. Yeah, I did say 17, tripping. So I will say 10. I'll give him 10.
So 10. You still give us 23, 10, or you?
I won't give us that no more. I'll go more like we get like, you know what, bro? I'll have faith, right? Let's have faith. I was over there being negative the whole time. I'll go ahead and have faith and say we get 20. Solid 2-0. You know what I'm saying? We get a solid 2-0. They get 10. 20 to 10. There we go.
2010?
Yeah, 2010. I'll give it that.
I'm gonna go a little more. I'm gonna say if AP says the starters are playing like he says they're playing in the first half, I see it being a big first half. So I'm gonna say probably 27-13. I think we're gonna blow them out from last year. I think the defense has a chip on their shoulder, giving up the 3 points, and that's the only points that was scored. I think the offense has a chip on their shoulder, not scoring any points to keep their defense, who's keeping them in the game. So I think AP definitely did not like being shut out, and I think that's going to be the key factor in the motivation, whether the quarterbacks are struggling or not. So I see us going out and like you said, AOC slanging it. I see Gardner slanging it, and I even see Carter Bradley and those guys, maybe having some drives down there. What you laughing at, Chris? Having some drives down there. So
who you think starts?
I think they're gonna go with Aiden first quarter and Gardner second, and I think next week they'll flip flop it and they'll go with Gardner first quarter and Aiden second, and I think they'll do the same thing the last week.
Yeah, see, that's okay. That's where we have the different. I flip flop mine. I say Gardner first this week, Aiden first next week, and then we rock like that. Who we play next week? Dallas. I like that. Ooh, I like that. I like Aiden going first next week in Dallas.
Aiden first in Dallas,
yeah, I like that. Yes. I don't know why, but I like against that defense. I definitely like that. Let me see something. That's what I want to see. Let me definitely see something against that defense.
Lawrence says 24-0 us.
God damn.
Woo. We're gonna come in and smoke, huh?
Minshew gets 10 out of the 17.
17. Okay, we'll see. My opinion.
Now, if he does that, my opinion, he's got a leg up on the race. 100%. If he does that, then
If he gets 10 out of 17,
oh yeah. Like if we score
oh yeah,
17 points total, right? Like the
and he
whole
gets 10
game,
of them.
yeah, he gets 10 of those. Like, yeah, bro.
Well, but what if ALC has the other 7 and the other one's just a field goal drive? You know, that off a turnover or something close that we get, the
It
ball
depends
in,
how it look. It depends how it look. That's
there's
true.
so yeah,
Depends how it look. While our
there's that
defense is
scenario.
up 3, the offense is 1. Need to come out. Yeah, the offense got to get right, bro. I don't think defense. Not much of the defense is gonna play, bro. Like I that's my opinion. I don't think much of the starters are gonna play that much.
Yeah, not for very long. Yeah, like HP said,
I don't
everybody playing, but they probably get a couple reps in there, maybe a quarter, half a quarter.
something like that, bro.
As long as we ain't seeing field goals, I'll be happy. Right on, right on. All right, man. So yeah, it's an hour and a half. I'll let you get off here if you're in a hurry. If not, we'll keep
Let me
asking
go a
questions.
little bit. Okay, give it a little 10 minutes. I think I got some time. I check something out.
Right on, right on.
I got extra. I got an extra 10, man. I got an extra 10.
ALC will look better no matter what the stats say. Chris is. You trying to be funny now, right? Because I know you're not an ALC guy. He's just trying to stir
He's trying
up
to
the
be
chat.
funny, bro. He always trying to be funny, but it's
Always
all right,
trying
man.
to be funny. He got to work on that.
Bro. I just want to see what Gardner does. You feel what I'm saying? I just want to see what Gardner does. Gardner has been looking lackluster the past 2 days. It's been real. It's been crickets. I ain't heard nothing.
Well, they say Garner has a good day, then he has a bad day. They said he had a shitty day today again. He was frustrated. You can see it in
all
you
the
can see it
truthers, man.
like you can see it in the press conference. He was frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, but I think with the running backs we have and the tight ends we have, it's going to be a different story against other defenses. At least that's what I'm praying for. Like, I definitely, I believe in my heart that this defense is the reason why the offense is struggling so bad. I think the coaches are doing their job. They're preparing. They're constantly teaching on the field, which even Hondo, alluded to. He's never, even in college, he's never seen so much coaching on the field, and definitely in the NFL level. He's like, I've never even seen people coach on the field in the NFL level. Like, all these coaches are constantly teaching instead of coaching. They're teaching nonstop. So I think that's a key factor, and I think we'll be ready to go. I definitely see us putting up some points, and definitely the defense not giving up any points no matter who's out there.
I think, I mean, we'll see what goes down. Man, Minshew did look like his puppy died, going into that. But at the end of the day, I think,
Right? He wasn't that happy-go-lucky, like all fired up that he was cracking jokes, trying to be silly and shit. Like, so Chris says he can make you laugh. You already laughing. That's why he got his camera off, Chris.
Nah, Chris is a comedian, bro.
He thinks he is. We need to put Chris up against MC Raider in a comedy challenge. See which one wins.
For sure. Chris always want to try to be funny, but yeah, I think we'll see. I mean, looks like he got chewed out by the man. I mean, honestly, bro. I mean, he probably looked like his dad told him he was disappointed in him, which probably AP is like, hey, bro, up to this point, I'm disappointed in you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you ain't did what I thought you was gonna do.
I think he's disappointed in himself more than anything. Like we've been saying, because everybody's expecting him to take that job and being the leader and being 7 years into the league, going against a kid that has 9 games or 10 games under his belt, is a big scenario. Like and he's even talked about how he's not competing against Aiden, he's competing against himself. So obviously he's letting himself down, and he's definitely letting the nation down for all those Gardner fans out there. But I think, AOC is right where they want him to be. I think he's in a new system. I think he's going to learn it slowly through the preseason. And I think by the Chargers game, we'll be ready to go no matter who it is. So that's just my
team-wise, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see about the quarterback, bro. But I definitely appreciate you for letting me on this mug, bro. It was a hell of a show, honestly. I appreciate you for just even inviting me, though. Everybody, y'all better be hitting that thumbs up for the guy, man. Giving that fire content. I see you damn near got all the TRS in that mug, so definitely, you been getting down with the guys, man. We appreciate you for sure. Always showing up and showing out.
pull me up anytime. And I'll come on and talk that shit too. Like all four of you or separately or whatever. I was trying to get Turf on. I was hoping he would have out. I had him on at the same time, but like I'd like to get a show with all four of you guys. Come on and voice your
We can definitely
opinion
set it up.
after. I'm thinking, like right before the season starts, after the preseason games are over, and we'll do a little kind of 5-man review of where we at and of what everybody's been talking about because we all keep receipts on everybody's opinions. So I think it'd
Right.
be a fun little breakdown show.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And you already know, man, anytime, bro. We try to get something cracking. We can definitely do that anytime we can collab with content creators. I got a good idea in my mind, but I gotta wait to put it all together. But I definitely want to do something where we can all collab for sure, man. Make something cool. And definitely Chris already know what time it is, bro. Everybody, man, you already know. We're gonna be doing a live watch party Saturday, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
hell yeah.
we did that thing last year. We didn't have that many subscribers, didn't have that many followers. This year is a whole different story. We on and cracking this year. So it's gonna be fun. Can't wait. And that's gonna be a hell of a time. So can't wait to see all y'all in there, man. We can talk that shit and really analyze what we seeing on screen.
Definitely, man. So I appreciate you pulling up on short notice. I know we kind of set it up just today, so I appreciate you showing up. It means a lot. And late minute, let all the people, most of them I'm sure in here already know, but for the ones that don't that watch later, let them know where to find you, what you got going on, what you got coming up.
Oh man, so you already know what it is, man. It's at the Raider Rundown on YouTube, at Raider Rundown 2 on Instagram. If you want to holler at your boy, maybe connect, man. Maybe do another show as well, man. I'm down to do guest appearances for anybody's show. You feel what I'm saying? As long as we got a good vibe, as long as we rocking, we can do our thing, man. So definitely looking to collab more. Tomorrow, I got my solo show, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I got that with Marcus Johnson from Tape Don't Lie. We're gonna be doing a live show tomorrow, breaking down training camp. He was at training camp, breaking down what's going on with the quarterbacks. You feel what I'm saying? And also previewing the preseason game. So gonna be a lot of fire content. And you already know, man, we're gonna have that watch party Saturday. I got Turf and Rundown Thursday. Boom, back to the Syndicate Sunday on Sunday, man. For everybody that want to tune in, just go ahead, tap that subscribe button on the rundown, get all that fire content.
Definitely, most definitely. Make sure y'all go check them out and check out, the Syndicate also, Raider Syndicate. They put out fire content. They always have great debate, and they always have Chris the Critic in there. So,
Chris, I gotta keep that one, bro. My man said, Chris the Critic. Yeah, that's
Chris the
right there.
Critic, that's his
Yeah,
new nickname. That's what I call
like
him because he a critic for everything. Everything somebody got to say. Him and Gravy are my favorite dude. That
yeah,
they always
that's that shit right there.
they,
I
they
like that
always
one.
they always on the good side. So man, shout out to everybody. Raiders Unleashed, Raider Rebel _ at X, Raider Rebel, pretty much everything else, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that shit. So Raider Rebel, go check it out. Like, subscribe, follow, share this live, share with your mom, friends, grandma, sneaky links, whoever. But break it down. I appreciate y'all showing up. Ron, thanks for pulling up, my brother. It's been a blast, and we will see you on the rebound. And we always end this show with one thing and one thing only.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
Yeah. So on three, 1, 2, 3.
Raiders. Y'all know the deal, man. Peace.
Much love, nation. Peace out.